the rules process. Many Iowans wonder, including me, why that when a perfectly common sense piece of legislation that most Iowans want passed, or at least Iowans want debated, gets passed out of the Iowa House and goes to the Iowa Senate and just simply dies. Doesn't get debated, doesn't get out of committee, it just dies. Well, a lot of people wondered that, and yesterday, the Senate was the day before yesterday was the place where the Iowa Senate decided to debate those rules to restore majority rule to the Iowa Senate. And Senator Harry Reid Gronstal got up and said,
"Of the Senate, I would ask you to oppose this amendment. I would point out that the rule as embodied in the current resolution before the amendment is the bipartisan rule. It's the rules the Senate Republicans operated under. It's the rules the House Republicans operate under. It's the rules the Democrats operated under when they controlled both chambers, and back into history. I believe probably, Senator Dix, on several occasions, you in fact voted for the existing rule, either in this chamber or in the other chamber. And what it really effectively does is means for all of those folks that chair committees, it's no longer within the purview of your committee. It's within the purview of the entire Senate. And so it really undermines the power of committee chairs. So with that, Madam President, I would ask people to oppose the amendment.
Well, that amendment went further up for debate, and as I said yesterday, Senator Robbie Smith, he's from Senate District 47, that's over by Davenport, got up. And welcome aboard, Senator Smith. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
You decided to dismantle Senator Gronstal's argument, chunk by chunk, every assumption. What Senator Gronstal said turns out to be historically and factually incorrect. In what way?
Well, in the way that he stood up there, and thank you for playing that clip. I love to use his own words. He said that the rules were the same. And he said they were bipartisan rules and that were voted on by Republicans and Democrats throughout the years. The only problem is, in January 2011, he went in and changed the rules and then voted on it. It was a party line vote, the Democrats 26, Republicans 24, and he changed the rules in 2011. So when he said they're the same rules, they are not the same rules.
Change them from what to what, and what is the effect of those rules?
Okay. Well, like you said yesterday, sometimes it's a dry subject, so I'm going to do my best to try to get to the point on these rules. There's lots of them, but basically it comes down to suspending the rules or changing the rules. We can change the rules and bring up a bill anytime we want. In the past, we could, by a constitutional majority of senators, which would be 26 out of 50 senators. And that was in the old Rule 25. But in January 2011, he went in and changed the rules and made it to be voting on a simple resolution is the only way you can change it. Now, this is where the problem kicks in, is a simple resolution then goes through the committee process that Senator Gronstal controls. And he could block that resolution from coming up. So let's say we wanted to pass a bill that wanted to fund more state troopers. There's some crisis. And Senator Gronstal says, there's no crisis. We don't need more state troopers. But yet the other 49 senators say, yes, we need more money. We could do a resolution to bring up that bill. The only problem is the resolution then goes to his committee. He kills it. We could then say we sign a discharge petition, which is in the rules, and bring it out of committee. The only problem is it goes to the debate calendar, which Senator Gronstal controls, and there's no way we can ever debate it.
All right, so that gives the Iowa Senate one-man rule.
That's correct.
Well, he's a Democrat, and as you acknowledged yesterday, elections count. If Republicans didn't like that, they should have attained a majority in the Iowa Senate. And as an outsider looking in, it didn't look like your party was all that competitive in the last election cycle. It didn't look like they really wanted it all that bad.
Well, I can say that we are ready to go for 2016.
Light at the end of the tunnel. I understand.
That's right. That's right. Well, I won my election, so that was something I was focused on. But you know what? We have a good team. We're going to go out there. We're going to win in 2006. Hopefully, get the majority. But a majority or not, it's a fundamental principle in this country, and it's the same thing that the Founding Fathers wanted to get away from King George, is that one person cannot stop something. And it talks about, Democrat rules. Basically, we passed Democrat rules. We didn't pass Senate rules. It was the Democrat Party rules.
Well, they voted on party line. Every single Democrat voted with Gronstal, and every single Republican voted with you.
That's right. That's right. And the ironic thing is that we can, in the Senate, we can do a quorum, we can pass a bill, we can pass a constitutional amendment on to the people, we could impeach the governor in the Senate, but yet we cannot bring up a bill that 26 senators want to vote on. And something seems wrong about that.
In the past, have you been there long enough to have seen that operation, that something gets bottled up in a committee, and you have committee chairs can be just as intractable as Senator Gronstal, and as well, if I don't like it, nobody. If it doesn't please me, this is not going to see the light of day.
Yeah.
And so this was designed to break loose bottlenecks at the committee level, right?
That is correct. Rule 42 was put in place a number of years ago to override or trump, however you want to say, the committee chair and bring the bill out of committee. The only problem is then it sits on the debate calendar, and then Senator Gronstal can choose to bring it up or not. And the amendment we offered a couple days ago was to say if we do override the committee chair and bring it to the debate calendar, then the majority leader must vote on it. Must bring it up for a vote.
Well, if
you
do achieve the majority in the Senate sometime in the future, will you change the rules? And if so, why? If you're the majority, why would you give the other party any more say than they've given you guys?
Well, you know what? I'm a man of my word, and I have no problem voting for this amendment when we're in the majority, because I think it's the right thing to do.
Okay, all right. How did I know why Senator Gronstal would advocate what he advocates. He likes his power. Nobody likes to give up power. But I think it's kind of odd that every single Democrat voted for one-man rule rather than majority rule. Not a single Democrat you could shake loose.
Yeah, that's, I thought with my speech, I was really trying to hope to get a couple votes out of the Democrats. And I guess they're the ones that are going to have to go back to their districts and, like Newton, Altoona, Washington, and North Liberty, and they're going to have to tell them that on February 4th, they gave complete control of the Senate over to one person. And see, I firmly believe I work for 60,000 bosses back here in Davenport and East Davenport and Bettendorf. And every senator has 60,000 bosses. But yet they take that election, when they elect them, and take all the power and hand it over to the majority leader and say, you can bring up any bill you want. And the problem with that is when you go to a forum and there's a bill that needs to be passed, someone in your district needs it passed, you have to tell them, I don't, but the 26 Democrats that voted for it are going to have to say, I'm sorry, I gave all that power away. I can't bring it up. I can't bring up any bill that you want in the district. And that just saddens me that have senators that would do that.
They could argue that, say, hey, we are the majority. The people of Iowa have given us the majority. That means they like our ideas better than yours. And if you don't get your say, that doesn't mean that the majority has lost. It just means that the minority has lost.
Oh, and that's fine. We understand elections have consequences. And I'm not here saying that if we had 24 votes on something that it should be brought up. We're not saying that. We're saying if it's bipartisan and the majority of senators, at least 26, want a bill to be debated, then it should be debated. And I think that should be a fundamental principle, because that means it's bipartisan if we have at least 26 senators.
Well, is the issue moot now for this session? You voted on the rule change and you lost along party line votes. It'll take the next Senate in order to bring this up again?
Yeah, these rules are in effect for 2 years. This is the 86th General Assembly, so we have to live under these rules for 2 years. Now, we can change them at any time, but remember, it means you need to go through the resolution process with Senator Gronstal.
So you can't even bring it up for a vote because, again, Senator Gronstal, Senator Harry Reid Gronstal.
That's right.
We're talking with Senator Rob Smith on our Newsmaker line, and I need to take a short time out, sir. And folks, if you have a quick question or comment, join us right now if you have anything to offer on this particular subject. 284-1040 or 800-469-4295 on News Radio 1040 WH.
All downhill from here. It could be all downhill from here.
Every once in a while, you'll hear an eloquent speech. Yesterday, between 11 and 11:30, I rebroadcast Senator Robbie Smith's Senate speech advocating for the rule changes that you've heard him talking about that would have ended one-man rule and restored a bipartisan majority rule to the Iowa State Senate. Senator Smith, I'm figuring you got a lot of response to that, and I'm serious about that. It was really well crafted. A lot of people recommended it. It's still available on the Senate website, and it's also available in my podcast from yesterday. And I know it was a futile effort, but it was still a well done thing for the record. People in Iowa need to know reality, and most of the time we have no clue why the things work or don't work over there.
Well, that's right. I mean, it's complicated. The rules are, but like I said in my opening speech, I love playing board games with my two older brothers, and they'd always bring out those house rules. The ones that trump the rules that are on the box.
Yeah, that's how my wife always beats me at Monopoly.
That's right. And you know what? It didn't take me long in the Smith household to figure out I need to learn these rules. and my dad, we'd go to different events, church events, community events, and he always said, you need to know these rules because knowledge is power, talking about Robert's Rules of Order and different things like that. So I guess I just have an affinity to rules, and I just love to get to know them. I put a lot of research into that speech and enjoyed giving it.
Let's talk to some of the folks who are joining us, and this is Dan. You're talking with Senator Rob Smith. Dan?
Yes, Jan. I'd like to put the focus on the misrepresentation that Senator Gronstal provided for the listeners. And to focus on that in our day and age, there's got to be an information website for anybody that has any interest in this, because just a casual listener, I don't know Robbie Smith from a bag of feed, but he's a politician. So a lot of people don't believe anybody. Well, we are in an information age, and the facts are the facts. What were the rules prior to January of 2011, and what are the rules now?
Yeah, I would like that, Dan. It's perfect.
And expose it, so people know the facts instead of just a voice on the radio or somebody else printed.
It would be interesting if you could put some of your research in and put the appropriate links in it so we could do a little comparison so we'd know what we were looking at. Senator, have you already done that in some form?
Well, I have it all in front of me, but that's something that I can get to you. But the people of Iowa can go and do their own homework on this.
Well, if you can give us a couple of links and if you can send them to me, I will be happy to post them for you.
Yeah,
Senator Robbie Smith, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your hard work. And it was not a futile endeavor because now all of us know a lot more than we did before you spoke.